Howdy, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all rages. It's me, Amazing Atheist. Well, TJ. You can call me whatever. It doesn't matter. I have many names, like the horror movies with the devil. And every time the devil's never like, hey, I'm the devil. It's always like, I have many names. Ooh, now we know it's the devil. Ooh, creepy. And, anyway. Kind of scatterbrained, trying to remember what I was thinking about. Okay, yeah, I remember now. I saw that episode of Kitchen Nightmares with the episode everyone's talking about. Amy's Bakery Company. Amy's Baking Company. I think that's what it's called. Amy's Baking Company. And it's ABC. Get it? Ha 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 ha. And and this is an episode of Kitchen Nightmares that even people who don't watch Kitchen Nightmares are watching because it's so insane. And I'm going to get into it in a minute. First of all, I'm going to say something about Kitchen Nightmares here. I'm a fan of the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares. I do not care for the American version of Kitchen Nightmares. Now, that sounds like some pretentious hipster shit. And it is, but there's a reason for it. There's an explanation. I can justify this. I have a concrete this, and that's the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares. Is very straightforward. Gordon Ramsay goes to the restaurant. He tells them what's wrong with it. They argue a little bit. He fucking proves to them that he's right and they're wrong. He breaks them down. They adopt his fucking bullshit, and then the restaurant is, sometimes it goes on to be a success, sometimes it does. I think it's like a 50-50 kind of closure open rate, which is pretty impressive for Gordon Ramsay, considering that all of these restaurants were on the verge of close before he came to them. Now, whether or not they were saved because he actually fixed them or because they had a reputation for being fixed by him, you can argue that. But nonetheless, it does seem that he, either way, saved some of these restaurants. And I think it's a great show. It's impressive, you learn a lot about the restaurant business. It's not a lot of sentimental, emotional bullshit, which is exactly what the American version is. It's all this emotional reality TV porn. This sentimental shit where, like in the UK version, Gordon Ramsay goes, he insults their food. Sometimes they get pissed. But sometimes they fucking, take it, a little badly, but, there's a certain level of reservation, or if they get angry, it's a very, like, well, fuck you then kind of anger. Whereas in America, everyone just seems like, it makes me feel like our country is a bunch of pussies compared to the people in the UK. I don't really believe that. I mean, maybe I should. I don't know. I really don't know, but I think it's just that American television, we like that sappy, sentimental bullshit in this country where it's just like, oh, my father and me, my father never get along, and my mom fucking doesn't understand me. And then there's Gordon's got to fucking, pull fucking he's got to put his, like, fucking pop psychology hat on and try to fucking solve these people's interpersonal relationship problems, and everybody's crying, and, 1 second they're crying, and then the next second he's buying them a bunch of expensive new kitchen equipment, and then they're all fucking ecstatic and happy, and they're crying again because they're so happy. And it's like, there's got to be like, and then, then shit kind of gets bad again. They get slammed by a hard dinner service and everyone's fucking real tense, but then they kind of pull through it and they fucking do an okay, halfway decent fucking job. And Gordon Ramsay's like, good job, everybody. And they all fucking suck each other's cocks. And it's like, yeah, now the restaurant's great. And we're looking forward to a bright new future. It's everything is just emotion. And there's the fucking idea of fixing a restaurant has been left fucking thousands of miles behind. No one gives a shit about fixing the restaurant, its food, and its service and shit anymore. That's like a fucking side note to what we really want, the emotional porn, the exploitation of people who are willing to be exploited for a fucking millisecond of what passes for fame now in America. So that's my problem with the show. But nonetheless, I did make an exception for this particular episode. I don't watch the American version, but I did make an exception for this episode because it's notorious, and it did not disappoint. Now it was a strange episode in a sense that it's I'm sure everyone knows by now this is the first episode where Gordon Ramsay quits and just says, fuck this, I can't do anything to help this place, I'm leaving. These people don't want my help. It's obvious they don't want my help. They're not going to listen to my opinions at all. I've got to fucking take a loss on this one, I've fucking got a good track record behind me, but this is the fucking place that I'm just like, I can't do nothing for you. So because of that, the entire narrative structure of Kitchen Nightmares was thrown into fucking disarray. Because usually you got this 3-day story arc where it's like Gordon arrives, if they do like a little brief intro, then Gordon arrives, he tastes the food, 99% of the time the food fucking sucks. And Gordon said, it's dry, it's fucking rubbery, it's raw, it's fucking this, it's that. There's always some problems with the food, of course. Yeah, the shitty restaurants have bad food, go fucking figure, right? So, he tells them their food sucks. They don't believe him. He proves their food sucks. They finally fucking relent and have to admit, like, okay, maybe our food sucks. And it's like, okay, and then he finds all the other problems, and then, there's all the emotional fucking bullshit, like, oh, you fucking, why don't you talk to your son, blah, 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 bullshit. And then, then he fucking fixes the restaurant, and happily ever after, basically. This episode, not just like not a small intro, a fucking long intro before, like, it's like 5 minutes before Gordon even shows up. And it's just dedicated to showing how fucking batshit crazy this fucking woman, Amy, whatever the fuck her last name is, Amy is fucking insane. Okay? They show that she is crazy, that she can take no criticism, that she just thinks everything she does is right, and that nothing she does is wrong. And everyone around her is either feeding into her delusion intentionally, like her husband, or they're feeding into her delusion out of fear because they are employed by her, or they're customers who, if they try to stand up to her, are ejected from the restaurant pretty much violently. Hold on, I dropped my e-cigarette. Okay. Gotta have my addictions. A man has gotta have addictions. Anyway, so by the time Gordon gets there, the bitch is fucking insane. Like, you already know she's gonna have a fucking horrible reaction to what he's gonna say to her. So he tries the food out, and it's horrible. It's fucking horrible. Well, first, the dessert is good, and then everything else is shit. And she said she made the desserts, but then I guess the internet did some sleuthing and found out she don't even make that shit. And she just lied directly to Gordon's fucking face in the episode. Whatever. Not surprising at all if you saw the episode and got any inkling of her personality. So there's way more tension with Gordon, eating her food and calling it shit, because that she's batshit crazy and literally thinks that God chose her to be a chef when she is in fact awful. I mean, I have not personally eaten her food, nor have most of the people on the internet, but I mean, it's fairly apparent just from seeing the reactions of customers and the reactions of Gordon Ramsay and the shit her wait staff was saying about her. I mean, it's pretty apparent that this bitch is crazy and delusional, and her food probably does, in fact, suck. So her food sucks, and you're fucking like, oh my god, when Gordon fucking lays into this bitch, she's gonna lose it. But then even Gordon is like, he fucking kind of gets wind of what kind of fucking person she is, and even he's like, we'll talk about that later. And you're like, okay, well, not yet. And it's fucking just tension. You're just waiting for Gordon to fucking drop the other fucking shoe on this bitch. Finally, he does, and it's fucking, she's just like, you just see this look on her face, like, you know, when he tells her food is bad, she's just like, does not compute, does not compute. Like, she has decided that she is a chef, and, you know, like, God himself could come down from heaven and be like, you are no chef, and she'd be like, well, you're wrong, God. I thought you chose me to be a chef, but apparently even you're against me. But I'm gonna be a great chef anyway. Pretty much the only person who could stand to eat her fucking food is her. And that's probably not even true. She probably just takes a little bite and says, oh, that's pretty good, and then she goes to a competent restaurant to eat. Yeah, so then it all just continues to fall apart. I mean, like, it doesn't even get... It ends basically on the beginning of the second day. It's usually there's 3 days worth of footage, so everything is just hyper extended, and instead of being that emotional bullshit, it's just like, hey, look at this crazy fucking lunatic bitch who thinks she's running a restaurant, and all of these poor customers and patrons who don't realize that they're basically living in a mad woman's fantasy world. And and then just seeing the way the customers get treated, and seeing the way the wait staff gets treated, and just seeing how horribly abusive both her and her husband are to the people around them. It's just fucking, at first I wanted them to die. I saw the couple in a car, and then they just crashed into a fucking brick wall, and their fucking bodies were pulverized, and they died, and I was happy with that outcome. But the more I watched, the more I felt kind of bad for her, honestly, the Amy girl, because here she is, this girl with this persecution complex that thinks everyone's out to get her, and it became this self-fulfilling prophecy where she got on TV, made an ass of herself, and now everyone really does hate her. Now her sense of persecution has become valid. And you can't really feel too sorry for her for that, except for the fact that she is fucking crazy. Like, you feel like by the time you're done watching the episode, you're like, that bitch needs medication or therapy or something. She has, like, serious problems. And you kind of feel bad, or at least I kind of feel bad for laughing at her and fucking, hating her and despising her, but I still hate and despise her and laugh at her, even though I kind of feel bad about it. Which, I don't know, but she's so fucking insane. She's crazy. She just rambles on, like, and everything she says, like, it's you could even, there was even this scene at the end of the episode that was almost like, it gave me shivers because it was so creepy. Gordon had left, obviously, in total disgust, just contemptuous of her and her establishment. I mean, maybe not contemptuous, but, just very, obviously disgusted with the way things were being done there. And, and then she, at the end of the episode, in the little interview snippet, was like, well, Gordon left because I think he realized we didn't need him. And I'm just sitting like, oh my God. You're so fucking delusional that no matter what happens around you, you just craft it into this new narrative that where you're still the victim, no matter what. Like, you can do anything. You can fucking ruin people's lives. You can fire people for no reason. You can stiff your wait staff out of fucking tips. You can do any fucking heinous shit you want to do. You can live in this crazy delusional world where you're a chef even though you fucking can't cook. And it's just fine. It's just like, yeah. Your brain is just like, yeah, you're a great chef and everyone else is a fucking idiot. The entire rest of the world doesn't know what the fuck it's talking about. Not one fucking person out there knows what they're talking about except for you and your yes man husband. Jesus Christ. Man's got to have his addictions.